స్థిరమైన అభివృద్ధి, బాధ్యతాయుత నాయకత్వం, భవిష్యత్తుకు సిద్ధమైన సంస్థల నిర్మాణంపై సమగ్ర చర్చలకు వేదికైన స్టస్టిన్-ఎక్స్ వార్షిక సదస్సు 2026 హైదరాబాద్లో ఘనంగా జరిగింది. తెలంగాణ ఫెసిలిటీ మేనేజ్మెంట్ కౌన్సిల్ ఆధ్వర్యంలో నిర్వహించిన ఈ సదస్సులో ప్రభుత్వ ప్రతినిధులు, పారిశ్రామికవేత్తలు, సంస్థల ఉన్నతాధికారులు, నిపుణులు, సామాజిక రంగ ప్రతినిధులు పెద్ద సంఖ్యలో హాజరయ్యారు. సుస్థిరతను కేవలం పర్యావరణ పరిరక్షణకు పరిమితం చేయకుండా సాంకేతికత, సంస్థాగత నాయకత్వం, మౌలిక వస్తువులు, సుస్థిర కొనుగోళ్లు, భవిష్యత్ కార్యాలయాలు, ఆరోగ్య రంగం, సిఎస్ఆర్, పౌర సేవలు, సుస్థిర పర్యాటకం వంటి విభిన్న అంశాలపై జరిగినటువంటి చర్చలు సదస్సుకు ప్రత్యేక ఆకర్షణగా నిలిచాయి. టీఎఫ్ఎంసీ వ్యవస్థాపక అధ్యక్షుడు మాధవ సత్యనారాయణ స్ఫూర్తిదాయక ప్రసంగంతో సదస్సు అధికారికంగా ప్రారంభమైంది. ప్రభుత్వ విధానాలు, పరిశ్రమ, సాంకేతికత, మౌలిక వస్తువులు, ఆరోగ్యం, సిఎస్ఆర్, పౌర సేవలు, పర్యాటకం వంటి రంగాలను ఒకే వేదికపైకి తీసుకురావడం ద్వారా సుస్థిర ఆలోచనలను కార్యాచరణాత్మక భాగస్వాములుగా మార్చడమే సస్టైన్-ఎక్స్ 2026 ప్రధాన లక్ష్యమని నిర్వాహకులు తెలియజేశారు.
All of you to know that our chief guest is responsibility towards our class celebrated India, a nation that chose to build in its own. It adds to immense strength as its technology and innovation. Ladies and gentlemen, any beautiful occasion. The COO, please put your hands together as we invite him. Shriram Gavialalu, head from Boxer University, tonight join with the lamp lighting. The group photographs. Can you spread out a little? Back. In 2026, we also carry with us the spirit of a nation that has been more prosperous, more sustainable India for generations to come. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us come together in a moment of national pride, unity, rise and stand in attention for the national anthem. All the moments to freeze in the moment as a respect and tribute to 8 years of legacy, 150 years of Vande Mataram, and 8 years of independence.
Facility management services and all the business delegation from across the world who are here. My sincere thanks to Satyanarayan Garu for inviting me as part of their 12th Sustainx event. Looking at all the AVs and the arrangements here, I'm really glad, and I really appreciate TFMC for taking the initiative of bringing together the entire stack of GCC ecosystem into one place to collaborate, to deepen the partnerships, and overall make Hyderabad the home of GCCs. From government, we are very clear that we want to be the pioneering leaders in being the home of the GCCs. Last year, we have overtaken Bangalore in terms of attracting the highest number of GCCs in India, and we hope to continue it going forward as well. In fact, last year we've had almost 75 GCCs set up their companies here. This year we are looking at number close to 100. It is only possible because of all the supporting services that we get. So a round of applause to all the supporting partners, TFMC, and all the member partners who, being the unsung heroes, who support the companies from behind before they even step here and make it their second home. And from the government side, we are very clear. We want to be that facilitators, supporters of this thriving ecosystem. We would like to, solve the pain point that might be there. So my office is always open. I urge the leaders of the GCC ecosystem, the TFMC, to come and discuss how better we can do, what steps we can take from the government side, so that Hyderabad will not only retain but also take the next level as the technology capital of India and the world. We've already shown it to the world through our support through all the GCCs that are here. But apart from that, given in the world of AI and the transformation that we are seeing in the digital ecosystem, we really want to make it the node, the central hub of AI ecosystem across the world. To that extent, government is supporting startups, major players in setting up their investments here. So, and we will also encourage a dialogue, ongoing dialogue with all the partners who are already here in giving us suggestions how best we can improve, how best we can facilitate more and more companies. Hyderabad already exports more than 3 lakh crores worth of services on an annual basis. And our goal is to take it to the next level by ensuring that, the world beating companies, the AI smartest of the minds come and work here. To that extent, government is willing to provide any support that is required. Once again, my congratulations and my appreciation to Satyanarayana Garu and his team for bringing together this wonderful event. And I wish them all the very best in promotion of their endeavor of promoting sustainability, transformation, and continued growth in this of the companies, and with that, Hyderabad and Telangana. Thank you, one and all. I wish you all the very best for a successful day going ahead. Thank you, one and all.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. ఫాస్ట్ అమ్మ పాపం పెద్దోళ్ళు వెయిట్ చేస్తున్నారు అక్కడ. చెప్పాలా? ఈరోజు మనం సస్టైనెక్స్ 2026 అనే సస్టైనబిలిటీ ఇనిషియేటివ్ హైదరాబాద్లో ఇవంతారాలో జరుగుతుంది. ఈ ఈవెంట్ యొక్క ముఖ్య ఉద్దేశం ఏంటంటే మొత్తం ఇండస్ట్రీ లీడర్స్, ఐటీఎస్, ఫార్మస్యూటికల్ అన్ని కంపెనీస్ యొక్క ప్రతినిధులు ఈరోజు ఒక 1000 మంది ఇక్కడికి వచ్చి వాళ్ళ యొక్క ఒపీనియన్ని, ఈ సస్టైనబిలిటీ అనే ఒపీనియన్ని ఎలా మనం దీన్ని పరిపాలించాలి, అంటే గ్రీనరీని ఎలా పెంచాలి, రీయూస్ని ఎలా చేయాలి, ఇవన్నిటి మీద ఈరోజు మేము ప్యానల్ డిస్కషన్స్లో మాట్లాడతాము. అలాగే ఒక అర్బన్ ఇన్ఫ్రాస్ట్రక్చర్ని ఎలా బెటర్మెంట్ చేస్తే మన ట్రాఫిక్ జాములు కానీ, అలాగే రోడ్ బ్లాకులు కానీ, అలాగే వాటర్ లాగింగ్లు కూడా తగ్గించడానికి మనందరం కూడా, అంటే ఈ 10 లక్షల మంది అందరూ కూడా కూర్చొని మేము వాళ్ళకి కమ్యూనికేట్ చేస్తామంటే ఈ రోజుల్లో పని చేస్తే మన ట్రాఫిక్ తగ్గుతుందని. అలాగే వాళ్ళ ఇంట్లో యూజ్ చేసేది కూడా ప్లాస్టిక్ తగ్గించండి. ఆఫీసెస్లో కూడా మేము ఏం చేస్తున్నామంటే సస్టైనబుల్ ప్రాక్టీసెస్ అని ప్లాస్టిక్ని తగ్గిస్తాము, కెమికల్స్ తగ్గిస్తున్నాము, రీయూసేజ్ ఎక్కువ చేస్తున్నాము. అలాగే ఫుడ్ని కూడా వేస్ట్ అవ్వకుండా సాలిడ్ వేస్ట్, ఫుడ్ వేస్ట్ని కూడా ప్రాపర్గా యూజ్ చేస్తూ ఎన్వైర్న్మెంట్కి సపోర్ట్ చేస్తున్నాము. అలాగే గ్రీన్ ఎనర్జీస్ని ఎక్కువ యూజ్ చేయాలన్నది, అంటే ఈవీ కార్స్ని వాడండి, ఫ్యూయల్ని తగ్గించండి అనే దాన్ని కూడా స్లోగన్ ఇస్తున్నాము. ఈరోజు ఈవెంట్ అంతా కూడా సస్టైనబిలిటీ మీదే మేము ఫోకస్ చేస్తూ, అలాగే వీఆర్ జస్ట్ వర్కింగ్ టువర్డ్స్ ద బెటర్మెంట్ ఆఫ్ అ సొసైటీ, బెటర్మెంట్ ఆఫ్ ఎ ఎన్వైర్న్మెంట్.
Ladies and gentlemen, now let's welcome our distinguished panelists. Our first panelist leads one of India's oldest and most mature global capability centers. Please put your hands together as we call upon Mr. Amjad Khan Pathan. Our second panelist represents one of the youngest companies on the stage. Please welcome Mr. Vivek Sahni, everyone, the global change answer. Our third panelist brings the perspective of consumer healthcare and Hyderabad GCC ecosystem. Put your hands together as we welcome Mr. Magnan Kulkarni, consumer healthcare head of the Hyderabad hub at Opala, Saudi's newly independent global consumer healthcare company. Namaste, sir. And then we have our fourth panelist who brings a strong perspective on digital transformation and AI-led technology. Please welcome Ms. Rashi Srivastava. Everyone, put your hands together. For the Global Chief Digital Officer at Quickly Digital Engineering and AI Technology Company. Hearty welcome to you, man. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for everyone. And we have our fifth panelist brings the perspective of the commercial real estate finance ecosystem, a very, very crucial part. Please put your hands together and we welcome with love Mr. Praveen P. Setterhead at Belvidere, the India Center of Berkshire Hathaway and Jefferies joint venture in commercial real estate finance. Put your hands together, everyone. And our sixth esteemed panelist brings a global perspective from the environmental and industrial services sector. Please welcome Mr. Avinash Samrit, President, GCC and Country Manager at Clean Harbors, a leading North American environmental and industrial services company. I want to please on your applause for him, please. Thank you. Namaste and welcome, sir. Now, ladies and gentlemen, now we have our powerful cross-section of perspectives spanning GCC, leadership, technology, digital transformation, healthcare, real estate, environmental services, and government. A conversation that goes beyond sustainability. Meenakshi ma'am, over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. GCPs from the past 2-3 decades have always been measured against cost, speed, and the quality. Now there is a fourth factor which is coming up, and it is coming up really fast in the past 3 factors, which is sustainability. In today's panel, we have 6 different leaders representing different industries and domains, and every day in their choices and the decisions that they make, the first questions they are asked is this sustainable? Sustainability used to be a PDF document, a policy, or a plug on the lobby. No more it is the same case. On the everything that is being done today, sustainability is one of the most important factors that they have to look into. In the next 40 minutes that we are going to have the discussion with this panel, where we have 2 people, 2 leaders representing the organizations which are 18 months old only, with the 4 people which are working with the GCCs quite mature, which means the practices and the habits are quite mature. They have to again rewrite the playbook. Let's understand from them how sustainability means for them, what it has changed and costed for them, and what things they have unlearned in the journey. In between, we will also come back to the room to take the questions if you have on the sustainability from this panel. Starting with Amjad, Amjad, consider a situation where you are mentoring someone as your successor for the next 5 years, right? What habit or the skill you would want the person to develop, which was not required 5 years back, but it is one of the most important factors now. And why?
Thank you for the question. So I came to Hyderabad 2.5 years ago. The job description had everything: cost, delivery, talent, leadership, strategy, license, everything, but not sustainability. So I would, the person who would come even next, like in a year or 5 years or 10 years. So I would say, first of all, understand the sustainability footprint so that you integrate in the decisions that we make, business decisions. Then I would say, don't keep sustainability out of the system. It is part of the operating system, right? I mean, you can't just discuss at the 17th or 18th point saying that, okay, we miss sustainability. So it has to be sustainability by design. The last thing I would say, there is a misconception to a lot of people thinking sustainability will slow down. I'll give an example of Bosch. So we have achieved since 2019 34% improvement in scope 3 emissions, and we have also increased our revenue by $13 billion. So it is not against, right? Sustainability against growth, it could be both.
Wonderful, which means sustainability and capital can go hand in hand with some of the people I hear that they don't think. So thanks for bringing that perspective and the examples. Moving to Vivek. Vivek, your organization, right, community, it was a sprint last year, right? And you are, I think, rewriting the playbook where it is more about culture, KPI, sustainability, the operating model from the day one, and not something you would want to inherit from a 50-year-old company, right? and how you see it is fitting with the new center and the old organization coming together on the sustainability, and what has been your learning there?
Thank you, Alakshi. First of all, Namaskar, Wanakkam, and Walaikum Assalam to each and everyone. Uh, it's more a pleasure for each one of us today to learn from you than to share any one of our perspectives. And my lovely panel on the left and right will ensure we do our justice. So, primarily, as it is said that AI, I link sustainability and the playbook and similar to AI, GCC, and our lovely aspects. So, as we started from this 250-year-old giant, with the tier one organization, shortly, AI can be a Sarthi. Same way, AI can be a Sathi, but the main owner or the main Swami is sustainability. And when we say that, primarily, it's a parent-child relation. So the DNA remains the same. And when we say the DNA remains the same, that means out of when material money measures of machinery, the base aspect, as we say, men and women play the major part. Same way, the re-return has to be done. The re-return has to be the same core values. Because safety and sustainability remain as a base core value. So the answer is yes, but with a flavor of newer and newer parts, which is more application to frontonomics, more application to the geopolitical culture, and how we all can gel together well within the nice playbook of ecosystems.
Thank you. Which means keeping the right values or the value system of the parent company intact and is still trying to recreate what is apt as for the current situation. Thank you so much. Mohammed, coming to you, your company is also it's carved out from the Sanofi, which is in the consumer health business products, right? Which where the products move from packaging, supply chains, and the pharmacy shelves, right? Now, being part of the organization, which is into the physical products and the typical service GCC, how do you see sustainability coming in the way, and how you are addressing it and making sure that the sustainability is again at the core of the whole business?
Thanks, Meenakshi, for the great question. So we are Opera is a consumer healthcare organization, and we are more known by the brands what we market. You have heard of Combiflam, Allegra, Introjamina. These are the products which you find in your shelves. To answer your question, Meenakshi, is the whole journey of the product life cycle, starting from the shop floor to the shelf of a consumer. And we have around 10 to 12 touch points where we ensure that sustainability is honored and respected. It starts purely from the fact that we have a closed supply chain, which clearly means that the material that we source is definitely linked to the distance from where it is sourced. It is locally sourced as much as possible to avoid any carbon footprint. Coming closer to the shop floor, the manufacturing locations, of course, that's given, but they all purely work on green energy. And see, the point is, for us, sustainability is not just a small symbol on packaging that is recycled paper. According to me, what we do is lesser known to the world, and we feel that's the right way. Because sustainability for us is not to show the world, but because we believe the practice. Simple example is a recent case where one of our very popular brands, we had to source it from API manufacturer. And we had to give close to 40% premium to source from that supplier because that supplier had the minimum carbon footprint. So the decisions are taken not purely commercially, but keeping sustainability in mind. So, and to your question about GCC, I feel GCC is a arm of the headquarters, and all the functions are fully integrated. The audits for plants or the contract manufacturers are done through the GCCs. And the audits are not only commercial audits, but they also ensure that the contract manufacturers are fully compliant with sustainability.
Great to hear how the sustainability is embedded into the each and every step of the product being moved. Thank you so much. Moving to Rashi. Rashi, as a Chief Digital Officer, you sit at the intersection of the digital and AI products, right? And these products are also, digital products are also can be an enabler for the sustainability, right? So when you talk to the different that can bring sustainability? The honest answer is yes. We underestimate the infra, for example. Um, so what happens here at a point where I think few years ago where cybersecurity and privacy was. Cybersecurity was layered at the top, at the end, and privacy was also thought as an afterthought after the solution was developed and all. So I think we are at an inflection point where we have to start thinking about all that by design. We have to start talking about the KPIs that matter and not keep a separate dashboard for just CSR and all like you said. So I think so we follow those things. We should not just measure less travel, automation, and less printing as one of the measures. I think the way we have to also see is where is this infra, how much is the energy being consumed, how much of water is being used, and look at the carbonization roadmap. Because a lot of times we think this is someone else's bill, someone else's problem, because it's not burning my account anyway. So I think these are some points as a digital leader I feel that we should start thinking about at the start. So when we look at the budget, cost, speed, and put those metrics together, so also talk about sustainability KPI, right over there, put it in the leadership mode, assign a person in which, the person in his performance review this should come up, because if there is no owner, it will not going to, it will just be in the books, it will not going to give you any outcome. So once you have a person assigned and you start talking about it, and you don't have a separate dashboard on the left side and the real KPIs on the right side, you put it in the same dashboard where you talk about your organization metrics, that's when it will start moving. That's how we are applying in our organization as well. We're looking at a lot of stuff. Being in the services company, we're checking not just the footprint developed on our solution, but also when we are implementing it for our customer, it should reduce footprint of our customer as well. That's our goal.
Very nice. Thanks for the honest answer. And you truly said what gets measured gets done, right? So that is, I think, what you are practicing in the organization. Thank you so much. Moving into Praveen, regarding finances and services, commercial real estate, and building account for roughly 40% of the global emissions, right? Essential processes, underwriting, servicing, and ethics data for thousands of the properties. Do you think this is shown as a financial risk factor baked into the models and the KPIs of the clients? Something you would have observed on those lines with respect to the sustainability and people or the companies baking it into their risk, financial risk especially?
This is a great question, Meenakshi. Thanks for bringing it up. So, Berkeley, actually, if you see, we are not bound to follow the ESG guidelines, if you see. We are not a listed company, we are a private entity. So, but still, I think the best part in our company's culture is we always want to do the right thing, even right thing for the society as well. And by the way, 40%, because we are only present in the US, we are not present across the world. So 40% probably is a very higher number. Maybe we should be much lower than that. So what we did, so we definitely created an internal core team for ESG. We also have hired an expert as well from the external agency. Then with that collaboration, we were able to come up with few focus areas where we can add more value in the sustainability fund and also to the society. So one of the things we always value people, investing in people is one thing we always believe that we continue to do. And as we are talking about sustainability, on the sustainability front, we are fully committed on the environmental stewardship. So we have taken many initiatives, many measures, and in fact, as I said, it's not a compliance requirement that we need to do, but for past 4 years, we have been publishing an annual report on ESG. Whatever activities we have taken up, we are doing in India and US as a consolidated report we are able to publish. And it is accessible for everybody on our website, in fact. So, what we are trying to do as a small thing from our company, every year, whatever carbon emissions we are doing. So we started buying those carbon emissions offsets for that particular amount. So that's what we have taken. We have taken some steps. I think lot to be done. But yeah, this is what I can mention for now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Moving on to Avinash, right? Clean Harbor's core businesses, environmental services, and hazardous waste management. Does that make it easier or harder for you to your own GCC to the same standards you sell it to the clients? And have you seen a disparity on the standard or the approaches which your clients would have been taking, and how you handle those things if you want to see sustainability angle to it?
Yeah, that's a great question. As you rightly said, in Harvard is North America's largest hazardous waste management company. So, and it was established more than 46 years ago, at a time when probably not much attention was being paid to sustainability, was not really abandoned. So we've been doing that for a long, long time. Now, to your point, is it easy or difficult? I think it's both. The easy part is that since this is our core business, we don't have to explain that again as an add-on to any of our colleagues, any of our employees. We don't have to explain because that's very much ingrained in everything that we do. So fundamentally, that communication around sustainability, its impact, and how it impacts and overall globally is very well understood. So that's the easy part. I think the difficult part is through implementation. Implementation is difficult because I don't think there is any problem with intent as such. The gap really is in detail, consistency, and measuring that. So, for example, sorry, and I'm talking about GCC example, which is more relevant. Of course, global there are much more complex examples. But in GCC, how are we doing our own waste management? If we talk about minimizing paper use, very basic thing that we talk about, or the washrooms that we use, are they conserving water, or the kind of food and beverage facilities that we have, how are they managed? Now, we can have some guidelines which I'm sure every single company has, but how are we managing it so that it is consistently followed? The practices are consistent and it gets measured. To your point, and what gets measured gets done. So that is the challenge. Now, the other hard part for us is that since sustainability is our bread and butter, that's our core business. So we have to be above them. We have to raise the bar. That's by default what is expected out of us. So we can't preach and not practice. So that really is the difficult part. What we really try to do there is make it part of our everyday conversation. I think it's important. Having policies, procedures, metrics, measurement, I think it's all important. But the fundamental shift has to happen in mindset. Ultimately, no matter what policy procedure tools you have, they are operated by people. And and if we have the right kind of mindset, I think that makes the biggest difference. So to me, our focus is, in addition to all the frameworks that we have, which is pretty solid, work on that mindset and sustainability becomes a part of our culture itself and not really an add-on. That's how we handle it.
Thank you so much. Taking the cues from the answer, the mindset, right? From the panel, we heard about talent, KPIs, process, the interventions they have in the each step with respect to the sustainability. What we missed from the panel is on the culture, which is very difficult to be wired, right? Now let's have a view from the panel how they are seeing the culture, the GCCs which are mature, how they are shifting the culture, and the new GCCs which are new in terms of age, right? How they are creating that culture so that sustainability is no more an option, but it's an important factor in all the decisions and the choices which not just these leaders are making, but the entire team is making. So, who wants to start or start?
I'll just give a snippet for that. Green is everyone's color, right? And when we talk about sustainability, so ideally, we can probably say that the earth that we are having, that we're not inheriting that from our ancestors. We actually are borrowing the earth from our respective children. And it becomes our respective responsibility to give it back in a much better way. And we say that parent something about what you just said. I think it's not all gloom and dark. I see a lot of positivity coming out. And we've been around for 7 years now. We started small, about 20, 30 people. We are about 400 employees. What I see, the most positive development, I would say, is that as we all continue to hire fresh talent, fresh knowledge, values, and all of that, and when we talk about what we do as a company, they find it very interesting. In fact, I'll be just sharing my secret sauce. My talent acquisition teams uses that to attract talent because we say, look at the purpose. The purpose of the company is to create a cleaner, safer environment. And a lot of young talent is getting attracted to that. I think that really helps in making sure that you not just maintain the culture but build on top of it. Something like that.
Nice.
I'll just add, Bosch has been one of the oldest and largest businesses, now close to 33,000 people in India. And we have grown in value. So to call, earlier we used to call, we are moving the value from cost to value and ownership. So, and sustainability should also follow. Global targets get execution would be more local. Right? I'll just take an example. In Bosch, so we start from top. So the highest responsible people, sustainability is the board. Right? Then we have a sustainability board who strategizes, who has money. We invested $1 billion from last 2019 until the plan is at 2030 in 8,500 energy efficient projects. Right? That's a huge money. So the money is with the sustainability board. They resolve the conflicts, they take the decisions, they take the ownership, they have the processes. Now, if I take an example of India, right, the targets are defined. We publish the annual reports. If I take two plants in Karnataka, Viradi and Naganatapura, Viradi, 45% of the plant water what they use is the rainwater. Okay, this board has not told. They have found the board, they localized the solution. And then similarly, Naganatapura uses 29% of rainwater what we use. So I think again, by design, we should have sustainability in the middle. You grow value in AI, data, digitalization, anything that you do. If you don't know what is the impact on sustainability, then I think you can't change the culture. So, and actually, you rightly mentioned, have an owner, you need an owner, have metrics to track, but most importantly, also need money. Without money, I think you can't implement. And it becomes exact.
Culture part. One thing that I feel, this is one aspect which cannot be talked about. It cannot be because sustainability should be it's a motivation factor. So I think how do you inculcate this culture in your organization? I feel it should be part of the existing motivators. Say your performance reviews or your recognitions, rewards and recognitions which you do normally. Celebrate small wins. If someone is bringing to the table, celebrate those wins. That is more visible to the wider organization. That okay, our management or our company also recognizes this team because what happens most of the time, so this is something which is a separate initiative. People just look at it, okay, somebody is working on sustainability, it's not me. So I think that part, if we start changing, saying, okay, everybody is equally responsible. Do your bit. Like Anusha was saying, it starts from yourself. So, do your bit, don't take printouts, don't have a lot of emails, don't do all those things that, or get your cups, get your water bottles, small things, or someone has developed a utility that saves a lot of energy or consumes lower power and things like that, celebrate that. I think including it in smaller things and doing a pledge in the company that we will now start doing this, that's not that, but doing these small things and celebrating small wins will include in your culture, and that's how you would spread the culture of sustainability.
I think culture is the most important your, but any initiative, whether it can be CSR, sustainability initiatives, everything, if you are including, if there is inclusivity or empowering the employees, only then I think any initiative will be successful. At our end, I can see CSR. Board, yes, we have funds and everything. How literally it is done by the volunteers, the passion, that's what makes any success very successful. Any initiative. Right?
No, I think just adding one point is that when we talk of sustainability and culture, I think culture we define it as our behavior. Culture remains in PowerPoint, it is not a culture, it should be demonstrated next month. 2, 3 points. We ensure that every new batch which joins us, because for instance, in our center, every Monday, 6 new people join. And we have sort of doubled over last 1 year. But we ensure that every induction, every welcome address to everyone has sustainability as a key part of that. Number two, we also get a pulse of it on how people respond to certain initiatives. So we have AJ here with our heads of facility management. We started a system where based on the occupancy, we shut down certain part of the office. And only certain part of office was kept open. Now that, office where there's no people. People have their comfortable spots in the office. But we want to say that no one complains. And that's the indication that people understand. And if I'm student from one place, I have to sit somewhere, it's because of the motivation. And last but not the least is we use sustainability as a major point in the employee value proposition. So again, official formal communication, a big part is how we do. So I think demonstrating is important and just making it as a
And it was so beautiful to know that sustainability is now in every aspect, right from the talent you are approaching or you look forward, do they have sustainability mindset? And from the parent organization, do we have board and the money which is there? But having money, but do you have the volunteers in your organization who want to use and leverage local resources, methods, process to have sustainability in your organization? It is something beautiful and for every one of us to reflect back how can we bring it more and more on the organization and what Rashi said is yes, we have been recognizing and recording the deliveries or the milestones, the big achievement, but yes, if we make this also part of the recognition, I think people will be more motivated, they will feel more valued for the sustainability aspect that they are working on it, and that will actually impact the overall story that we want to stitch it. Right? Now moving on to the people here, right? Can you share any one example from your experience, maybe in today's organization, previous organization, any practice that you are doing personally and you think should be adapted by others, right? Can you share it with us, with the entire group? Anybody who wants to volunteer? Yeah.
So as an academician, I have a major responsibility to train the leaders which are becoming sustainable leaders in corporates. So having 19 years of experience and this sustainability have grown so much now, and this is the talk of discussions now. But the practice which you know that what we are doing as a residential university, whatever the projects students submit us, so the papers are there. They have to submit some projects. So what my students have developed, they have developed a paper plates, cups, and they have made itself in the campus. So we are encouraging the entrepreneurship using those sustainable papers which they use as a projects. As well as we have mess. So we have a lot of food wastage. So my students have created an app in which that food, and another thing which we are also using, that the wastage water. So rather than getting that water wasted, we use those water to plant the trees, and we have a lush green campus of 200 acres.
How are you checking the sustainability investment? The discussion here seems to be like the sustainability is not profitable, but why? It is profitable. like cyber security. You put some money on that, you get it back. Like safety, when you put some money into the safety culture, you avoid accidents and save money. Similarly, for sustainability, when you are putting something into the sustainability,
GCCs play a role. It actually starts from the very fundamental. And if there are any real estate companies, if they know that right from when we go for leasing an office, we look for the green certification of office, right? So I think it starts from there, so that we know that the fundamental practices of energy efficiency, water management, they are all being followed this code of conduct. So, and that's the reason why now you see this in Hyderabad, beautiful campuses coming up. Everyone is actually advertising that they are, I think, 475 or 1. So it starts from there. Now, the second aspect is, one, that's the beginning, but how do we really make sure that it gets sustained? And my honest answer is, I think we are doing a lot, but are we doing enough? My honest answer is no. I think there's still an opportunity for us to do a lot more. There are practices being followed. There's a lot of impetus being made on following green practices and being following sustainable practices. But is it more on reporting side, or are we empowered our people with resources, with decision-making ability, and they're responsible for outcomes? I think that's an area where there's a lot more that can be. That's my personal.
You must be having a life insurance policy or maybe a term policy. When you took that, right, so you would have never thought that you are taking a policy so that it should be actually helping you, because you never want that should be actually utilized, because it is utilized in the case of a mishap or accident or something, but it's not an investment. It's basically to be utilized for a particular thing. Same thing in all tier 1 organizations, sustainability is not actually a profit. It is not shown in the balance sheet. It is shown in the annexures. It is shown at the top or at the bottom, because everyone is intended to do a mixture of top-down and bottom-up. It is not something which is forced. It has to come from within. So profit element in sustainability, or in CSR, or when people go to old age homes, or when people donate food or something, this is not meant to be visibilized. It is not something which requires the status of the WhatsApp. It is meant to be done and forget it, because it has to be done.
So, Chan, just to add to my fellow panelists, so in manufacturing, right? So we do a lot of circularity, green manufacturing. So the machines that we refurbish, so now we use 75% of the components. So I think it's not so easy to calculate the ROI always, right? But it has come into the practices. Somehow I think we are giving back to the mother nature, we are giving something back to the customer, we are giving back to ourselves something, right? And in one of the recent GCC discussions, when we met the secretary from the state government of Telangana, so he asked, GCCs, you tell what do you want? Okay. So one hour discussion, and he was surprised. He was surprised that you did not list incentives. Incentives did not come. Everyone has asked, we need green energy. How do you do it in the state of Telangana? Can you please tell us the ways? Because we are in for it. That is the first or second point for us, that you supply green energy to us. See, that is how the things are changing from the GCCs.
Thank you so much. Anyone else with any question or example for the room? Alright, moving to the last one-liners for the panel. Right, if tomorrow you want everybody in the room, right, to start with one good habit on sustainability, what will it be? Quick one-liners from each one of you.
Easy. I'm glad we are seeing this. Stop using plastic bottles. Easy.
I think still there is a lot of scope for solar energy that can be pushed.
I think instead of magic things, let's take small step at a time. So, for example, if you want to stop printing, stop using paper cups, stop using plastic bottles, or go digital certificates, things like that. Switch off lights and energy where you don't need. These are some small things, but they have a larger impact. So if you can do one thing, that's also good.
Involve the employees' families in ensuring sustainability for the organization.
Do not use physical visiting cards, use QR codes. So I would say any of our guys go back, any business decision that you take, just think, and it could be software, hardware, any kind of development, just think, what is the consequence on sustainability? Just think, I mean, 30 seconds, 1 minute, you'll get very good insights, right? I mean, how can you really help sustainability? So what I would say, just think about a sustainability consequence in the business decision that you make.
Thank you so much. Thank you each and everyone on the panel, because it was lovely discussing with each one of you the practice, KPIs, matrices, the investments that is done, and how you see or you want people to perceive it and nurture the culture of sustainability from the day one, not after 5 years or 10 years, right? And everyone in the audience for sharing your experiences. Thank you so much. Those are some of the good examples. We wanted to leave everyone in the room so that at least to start with one, so that we have a better tomorrow. Thank you everyone.
Ms. Meenakshi Pandey. Josh, kindly step forward. We request Mr. Vivek Sahani, sir, kindly step forward. Global Change and Service Desk Leader and Trinity Brand Ambassador, kindly step forward. Marvelous, everyone put your hands together for the President. Alright, huge round of applause for the first, but before that, as we set up the stage, I request the energizer in this room, my co-friend. Everyone put your hands together again for a moment, quickly.
I am associated with real estate. Guys, real estate, huh? Real estate and development projects. Clue number 2. My work is connected with the development and creation of confused because we have real estate partners, many partners here. The last clue, my name is short, distinct to and ends with all years, ends with the word projects. Any raise of hands, projects. My home group, yeah, you are just 2.5 kilometers away from the answer. But yes, as I said, it is a tricky question. You have answer. It's very simple now. Elimination round. Huh? Okay, your good name, sir, first. My good name Rajesh. Flip spaces. Flip spaces. Flip spaces? Okay. Why can't we third? Yeah, sorry. Thank you so much. Yeah, any more answers? As I said, the name ends with projects, guys, projects. Look around like this. We have that business partner right here. Anyone want to try it? Yeah? Yes. Petrock? Petrock, wonderful. Do we still have any real estate projects here? Guys, please note the answer should end with projects. Projects. Look around, look around. Take a 360-degree look. You'll get the answer. Anyone want to try? Anyone want to try? Real estate. Do you want me to give another chance to this wonderful man? This guy? Yeah, please raise up. Life always gives you second chance. It is your responsibility to make it a best one, right? Your good name, sir? I'm running from APTRA. And the answer is? Virginie Projects Private Limited. Make it up, Virginie Projects. Wonderful, thank you so much. This guy is amazing. You got your life at second chance. But anyways, hello for all the amazing participants so far. Thank you, thank you. I need, this platform is that we need a lot of people, we see a lot of business partners
your next conversation can take you to the collaboration. And with that, I'll take a lead and over to our wonderful MC of the day, Anusha Murray.
Challenge is not just to reduce emissions, but to build supply chains that are resilient, responsible, measurable, and future ready. Today, we have an excellent panel of experts who bring perspectives from procurement, finance, academia, and project management to explore this very important conversation. Moderating this session is Mr. Sushil Kumar Singh. Let's give a huge round of applause to the head of procurement, APLA Novartis. With a huge round of applause. Come on, everyone. Joining him on the panel, Mr. Ram Arpa, CFO, Vice President Finance, Dr. Rupida Chada Rajput. Put your hands together for the Program Director, MBA, XP, and Professor, OB and HR, Wilson University. Everyone, please sound applause for the lovely lady in black. Mass Mutual. Put your hands together for him, please. Everyone, why don't we hear huge claps? Come on, this is what we want to hear, right? Yes, thank you. And Mr. Vishal Nawandar, Senior Procurement Manager, Berk India, once again, put your hands together for him. Hearty welcome to you, sir. And Miss Mithili Uralidharan, everyone, put your hands together for the Project Management Lead. The volume, everyone, put your hands together for the finest ladies here. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished panelists, let's put our hands together for the stage for carbon footprint in the supply chain procurement. And now over to Mr. Sushil Kumarji.
I'm happy to host the newer technologies and how technology and sustainability are merging together to shape the future of supply chain. My name is Sushil Singh. I am head of procurement for APMA region from Novartis. And with me, I have fellow panelists. And we will be discussing mostly on sustainability and AI in supply chain. Normally, what we have seen in the past decades, supply chain has been measured on primarily two metrics. One is cost, and the other is speed. But as time has taught us that whatever we have done till now will not take us where we need to go. And hence, right now we see we are at the intersection of two emerging technologies, which is AI and sustainability. AI is no longer just an automation tool. It has become the foundational nervous system of our supply chain. And sustainability is no longer a corporate world talk anymore. Organizations have been made accountable for their emissions in carbon 1, 2, and 3. And hence, we are here to discuss as to how these things are shaping our future. Vishal, the question to you is, how do you see AI and digital supply chain tools helping organizations work with vendors to track carbon emissions and improve supply chain visibility in real time?
So, when we talk about AI, digital platform, and carbon especially, so nowadays the carbon emission has been a big piece for all the corporates. Everyone wants to show up what is the saving they are coming up. So indirectly, this has become a second term of money, I can say. So how we, as a procurement professionals, we always talk about savings. So now this also became a part of savings. What are the savings you are getting in the market and for the organization? A lot of people, a lot of corporates started tracking about the carbon emission, how we are saving it, and what fruit we are getting for our organizations or any institutions. So maybe just taking an example of logistics, where we do about the employee pickup and drop services for this thing, transport. So it's always good. Now people are coming up with a detailed sensors and a lot of tracking systems where they track about the routings and everything. So there have been a lot of tools in the market. Previously, people used to like take that drop. A driver used to know their way and he used to take it. Now, to just reduce the carbon and make sure the petrol or the diesel, whatever consumption is there, that should come down. We got such a beautiful AI tools in the market which reroutes our directions, saying we go from this route, it will save the time and distance. So in these cases, we see a lot of carbon which is being saved. The only thing is we have to see how we track it. Getting associated with good logistic partners where they have good tracking system where we can see, okay, by doing so many trips, they are able to save so much of amount of carbon emissions. So these all are going to help in a long picture where not only India but at the global level also a lot of people do a tracking of carbon emission. So this will help us to make sure and publicize, okay, we are not only working for this, but we are working for multiple things. The same way in the IT sector also, if we see laptops, a lot of brands now started coming up with carbon footprint laptops where they say, okay, when you recycle it, this is what it comes up. You give us the laptop back. We will give you X number of credit of carbon emissions. We will give you a certificate for the same. So these all things are taking the next level to all the corporates or the institutions where we see how this everything is going to help us out.
Very thought-provoking questions which you have asked. As an academician and serving the universities since from 19 years, this word sustainable have become very epic. But the word sustainable is already there. But now we are talking much about things, we are talking much about sustainability. And this is how universities are also shaping, as I have given you the 3 examples which we are using in our university itself. We also are creating more projects. We are also creating more project-based assignments, more project-based inclinations so that students, because these students and these leaders will anyhow serving the industries. So it's better that the groundwork, which as an academician we have to do inculcate through universities only, and as an academic leaders, we have to identify that sustainability is not the work of any corporate. It has to come from inside our daily practices. As Rashi has already mentioned, it is not about the company which have to take the ownership, it is the individual which we have to tell them that this is your ownership, and saying that we have to build this practices in our curriculum, in schooling, so that the foundation students, the foundation children, the foundation academicians know the responsibility of saving things which can be used for further utilizations.
And hence my question to you now is, how can procurement leaders use TCO and risk assessments to build a compelling finance case for sustainable initiatives?
Thank you, Mr. Shane. I think, in my belief, the sustainability is there everywhere, right? It's there in our life, business, everything. So, it is not apart from the, what we are discussing. When it comes to the investment point of view, I think they are all, discussing an opposite mode. Procurement will come with, approval, and where, we always say to no. But the one thing we have to understand all the time, the finance is not there to, disconnect the ask of the procurement. It is how you present it, right? Instead of you, presenting it as an investment, you can put it as a business case. So that every procurement leader has to understand the business case. And in the way you put the in front of the CFO, I think it is, actually get approved. If you don't think that angle, then the leader do not have a choice to approve it naturally, right? That's the one thing. And then the fundamental of the, getting this cost evolving is that the involving the finance from the design stage of itself. It should not be on the end. So because the moment you end, then you will always see the rejection, right? So the working of the sustainability successfully is always factor of 3 things. One, you always work closely with the procurement, and then operation has to be handshaking with the procurement along with the finance. From beginning of the design of the sustainability plan, it is always approved. That's my philosophy in this.
Thank you so much, Shyam, for that answer. Coming to Shyam, and Shyam, Vishal spoke about AI and sustainability. But from a procurement perspective, right, how do you enable procurement professionals to make faster and more informed decisions and improve cost analysis through AI?
I recognize that AI in procurement is still evolving. So last couple of years, I know so AI is moving very fast. Our functions are adapting, and they're really leveraging well. Uh, then that came as a goal to even procurement also, right? And we were checking what is it we can do. Unfortunately, in procurement, very fast that we do are unique, and there is nothing that we can really start to really right? Then what we realized that the goal has come, and we have to really start to adapt. Then we encourage our team to start to really look for opportunity to see how you can be part of the team and get trained. And what is effectively working for is outlook management, right? And that's I know it's common for everyone. Anytime there is few years back when I was working on a very large project, when the VOQ is 100 line items, 200 line items, the comparison used to take hours, and it was every time you do a line vision, then you have to really go through each and line item and start to do it. Now with the AI coming in, right? It's you just give a prompt, then you know what are the comments, or the issues, or the best analysis, right? And even one of the part of the process is your contract. And while the organizations have standard templates, and when you are reviewing, when you are comparing, AI is really just to make things better and review your deadlines, all that. So what is happening in our, I'll just give one example that is currently happening with our current organizations. A lot of companies are still using legacy tools, and recently, we started evolving. We started exploring a new age tech tool, which is AI enabled. Today in procurement, we have different processes, right? We start from triage, managing the request queues, then category management, contract management, TPRM, and then P2P, all that. And every stage we have a different tool. For example, receiving a request, we rely on sometimes service now, then contract, we rely on sourcing tools, then we also rely on third-party risk management tools. So we have different tools. So what the new tool that what the challenge that we are trying to solve is we are focusing on two agenda. One is sometimes procurement looks like a black box, and for requesters, it doesn't know that where your request lies with, right? When it's a process, very lengthy process, it's difficult to find out. So we are seeing this tool as a dominance delivery, right? And when you place a delivery, then you would exactly know where it is. This tool is going to really integrate a lot of tools, integrate some of the tools, and it gives you where your request is exactly. It also, when somebody is really interacting with the it's really interactive, right? Somebody placing a request, it doesn't know what description should be really giving it. It tells the moment you say event, then it asks you some questions, what event, how large, all that, when are you looking at. Then when it comes to procurement profession also, the moment you want to roll out RFP, then it tells you what kind of questions you want to ask, right? So when you want to really look at contracting, it also tells you how many messages you have and the same SOWs, all that. So AI is involving in procurement also adapting this thing very well, and I'm sure they are going to.
So, very good afternoon to all of you listening to us patiently while your lunch is waiting for you. So, coming back to the topic. So, definitely AI has been helping in their daily tasks, like Sir has already added certain points. In looking at the data where we spend hours in analyzing the data, those are the regular mundane things that we do. AI is helping us cut the time down there. So it helps us in making quicker decision and more strategic decision, and I think that's the area AI is helping us with procurement right now.
We have only data in our hand, being very straightforward. So this data, we have to analyze the data where we see what we have done in the past and what better we can do in our coming future. So when we are talking about carbon specifically, it's always great that we get everything involved at the stage 1 itself, when we start getting a request from the user environment. We may not know that particular time itself how much carbon emission we are going to take it up, but we will have an estimate. there are a lot of tools in the market which gives us an estimate about it. So we would think getting everything at the ERP level of P2P or any major tools in the market where we will be able to measure the stuff very easily. So it's good that we initiate the same thing at the stage 1 where with the request, we have the data where which is it is X quantity, X weight, and X stuff which we are going to order. So it's very easy to get the estimate that particular time, and this will help the organization not only at procurement level, even when we are settling a bill for a transport vendor, for an example. So when we settle a bill, we will know how much carbon emission we have done. The same thing will go to the finance also at the time of doing a purchase, the payments to the vendor. So it becomes like a two-way matching, three-way matching, where we can see like the finance is also doing a track of it, procurement is doing it, and the user department is also doing it. So in this case, we have the accuracy coming up, we have the real footprint coming up, and this becomes a star for the organization.
If you talk about the demand and if you talk about the skill sets and the demands which we need to develop, see, talking about and hearing the viewpoint of my fellow colleague panelists, we have to understand that AI, procurement, sustainability is all joined together. It is one only necklace of, and we have to just bead all those necklaces in one way so that everything is coming together. But we cannot move it as a different department, as a different sector. We have to have an inclusivity in such a manner that things are looking in the same case. Now what's happening is that earlier, if I talk about academics and corporates, CSR was a part of an activity which they have to do it. But now it is a mandatory thing. Why it is mandatory thing? Because of the government pressure, all that things are there. But it should not be coming through pressure. And the skill set, if you talk about, that first and foremost there should be digital literacy. Digital literacy is very important with amalgamation of responsible leadership. If we have both the things joined together, then we can develop sustainable, ethical, as well as responsible leader who could take over the legacy in such a manner that this will not be a point of discussion, it will be a daily practice for everyone in the day-to-day lives.
The green label has become a blank check. The moment you see the green label, it's approved, right? So that perspective has to be changed because we are only acting on it. So when you see the green label and then proceed, you are only acting on it, you are not, actually creating a value for it. So in my view, I always think that, look for the, what you are bringing on the table, and then, see the risk, see the business continuity plan. Right? You may be buying the product today, but you have the, replacement mechanism, waste mechanism, you have the maintenance things, right? So sometimes your price will be a little higher for the green label. But am I paying the right thing for that? If you able to create a proper business case and then future that why I am paying this 8 or 10% extra for this green label, and I think that's the easy way to get the things go on, and then you can attract the clients, right? So the global clients. In the future, the way you create a business, the sustainability becomes one of the part of your business continuity plan. In a way, what you said, we have a CSR. Now it has to be the corporate sustainability responsibility. You need to bring it to that place. From the social responsibility to the sustainability responsibility. That has to be the part of the game, is what I think.
Like many other functions, right? The procurement also has been evolving over time. Traditionally, the procurement was more focused on vendor management, focusing on cost, contract and SLA. And now it is shifting to strategic partnership, which is more focused on your value creation, innovation, risk management, and then long-term outcomes. Now we are also talking about system. And the question here is, can we really build strategy for all the vendors? The answer is no, right? And what we started following is that we have a structured SRM program, supplier relationship management program. That effort is a combination of EKRM, business, procurement, and vendor as well. What we do is, we call it three-pillar approach, under which what we do is, the first pillar is more of vendor due diligence. So when you are talking about any vendor, we look at or we check their reputational sanctions and their financial health, so on and so forth. Then second pillar is more of your risk assessment, right, the risk management. So while you have a vendor who is really strategically, aligned with your company operation, it's important to really assess the, the vendor risk assessment aspect, right? That from your data privacy, your cyber controls, your use of AI, then importantly the exit contingency plans as well. And the third pillar is, it's more of your business operations and performances and SKUs.
That is built. First is to build the trust, because that's something AI has not taken over yet. So it still remains with humans. So let's act on it. So that's a major, takeaway. I would say to stay connected and also to stay advanced in the next level, and definitely use AI responsibly and ensure that your decision making is not just data driven, but also a reality check and what both customer and the vendor, the connection point needs to be connected before the final decision is being made.
It's a little tricky, but as we have seen the worst also in our past, where the supply chain got affected really badly because of XYZ reason, maybe we consider the latest one is due to the war. So when we select a vendor, we have to always make sure the selection of the vendors are done on the basis of global level too. When we have a vendor who have a presence globally, they always make sure that they have some inventory in that. So in this case, when we see major challenges coming up, it's always inventory which makes a lot of difference. And it's not only related to a vendor standpoint of view, but all the organizations also have to forecast their requests in hand before. We as in supply chain masters, it does not mean that everything just in a fraction of a second we can do some magic. It's not like that. We are expert in negotiating, we are expert in getting the best vendors with the best quality of the product which the organization needed. How and how much is required is the forecast which is jointly played a major role by the procurement professional along with the finance and the business departments. When we all together work together, that gives a lot of benefit. And when we have some ethics talk with us, the complete supply chain system for a certain period of time is manageable from the organization perspective. We can't blame only a vendor, we can't blame the organization, but it's a jointly work done by all of us together.
Most of the fellow panels added the, how they can use and then what kind of collaboration is required. I'll echo with them. Work as a team is the fundamental thing to be a sustainability plan. Right? If you can work as a silos, so nobody knows that what is going to happen. The idea of the sustainability or lean procurement, you need to work collaboratively because the sustainability what we're talking about, it is not going to be visible on you immediately, right? It's not saving money. It's your future. So the future means that you need to also work with the supplier. Who is going to be supplying the things, right? Not only internal, finance, the procurement, your operations. You need to work with the supplier. Then bring the value that why would he need to pay this amount, right? It is not about unit price. It's about what is the cost I am going to pay and how the value I'm going to generate. Okay, that has to be fundamentally talks to your business case. Every investment is a revenue generator. The fundamental thing is today, people always have this is a cost, but nobody is going to get cost without expecting something, right? Every cost has an investment. Every investment has a
revenue generation. There is a two-way. You don't need to be directly contribute to the revenue. You can also be a contribute revenue indirectly. So the procurement, the other aspects of any organization start looking at how I am helping the revenue generation. And certain times you may not be directly, giving the numbers to see on the balance sheet, but you may be showing that directly on the profit. You may be not able, but when you cut down the cost, when you cut down your regulatory things, then you ensure that your organization is future proof. There is no risk involved. And it's always a profit, right? So that's my idea. And coming to the AI era today. So AI is a good thing, right? The majority of the time we can go before the AI. We are always having an after the fact. You need to do some activity, then you realize your mistakes, then you will not repeat it again. But today you have in hands that the data analyzation, right? The most of the things you may be able to make a better decision before the fact itself. So that is the the analyzation may happen. However, missions can't dream. So we have to dream, and then missions can work towards our dreams. That's how the way you need to adapt the AI.
Which was coming into my mind is that AI lead to algorithm and algorithm lead to accountability. But that accountability should also be leading to acceptance. That is very important. So this 4A, which I just now created, discussing with my fellow colleagues, that these 4 A's are very important. That you need to have amalgamation of AI, algorithm, accountability and acceptance. And last but not the least, we need to, in Hindi we say that, we do not need to change the direction. हमें अपनी दिशा बदलने की जरूरत नहीं है, सोच को बदलना है. If we are changing the way we are thinking, we all are in the same direction. हम सही दिशा में चल रहे हैं. पर हमारा जो सोच है, we need to have lot of brainstorming in our mind so that this will be a part of our ecosystem rather than only a discussion.
And instead of focusing only on the final outcomes, you should really understand the practices of the vendor and track the actions, right? Then give some measurable measures, right? And in your business review meetings, you have to keep talking. It's not the end of the year you realize that we asked to do something, but it is this amount. Then it has to be throughout the time, and the practice has to be from the day.
When we see a short goal, we feel happy when we achieve it. So as soon as we achieve a short goal, we get more energized saying, "Nahi yaar, ye to kar paaya hu, I can take the next one." So starting with the short and then achieving the big goals are the best practices for any procurement professionals to make sure nothing is impossible. Everything is achievable.
Absolutely. Thanks to Dr. Rubika. She perfectly well put the whole discussion in a beautiful sentence. And I would like to say, let's make sustainability not just a fancy word, but a way of living. It should start from us, from home. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. So it's basically, we see the moreover, sir, as you said, it's all dependent on the data. What we have. The data has helped a lot for all the organization to develop the AI, and which is also not only, I'm not talking about only the government organization. Government is doing a lot from their end, but it's moreover, we have to see how the society is developing, how we are developing, how overall the India is going to develop by doing all these steps. Chapters in the EVS under the NCRT program. So it's a CBSE, right? So where certain schools follow the NCRT. So 2 years back they have approved. There are certain chapters they added. Now in the 2028, the revision is going to be happening. There they are going to add more chapters. So I have been in interaction with the CBSE department in Delhi. So they will be clear about that, and I can see my kids, textbooks as an evidence.
And the reshaping of academies. As we all know, the new education policies is already there. We can see that new education policies are there, and because of these policies, it is being restructured of entire curriculum. earlier the things that the subjects, the topics was not there a part of their academic basic level of academics, but now they are already there in the elementary, third, fourth, fifth standard, and advanced for 9th and 11th. And there is a part of a mandatory section in every school and university, and you have to incorporate social internship project. That is a social internship project which is a part of the curriculum itself, so that evaluation is being done so that the responsible leadership, reshaping structuralization can be done from the initial school level stage to university levels. That's it. Thank you.
Where they said that human beings are good at inventions and are not very good at adopting those inventions. So I think AI is a very good invention, and if we adopt it in the right way, I think we can go minds. Thank you.
Extremely innovative, happy, and so such a conversation that it was very, very informative. Give a big round of applause. Come on, everyone, come on. To do the honors, may now request Satyanarayana to quickly come up onto the stage. Is all ready, everyone. Give a big round of applause to him for the Head Climate Change and Training, EPTRI, that is Environment Protection Training Research Training Institute. Oh my God, huge fan base. Make some huge noise. Come on, Dr. Rajeshwar Rao, Jambalagata. Please put your hands together for him. From Oxford University, she's a program director, MBA, XP Professor, OP, and HR. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Until now, we had an amazing start off. We have so many conversations and so much more to talk and to learn and to exchange. After all, we are here to collaborate, network, learn and grow. Ladies and gentlemen, now time. Kindly join us for lunch, please. And do not forget to scan your code in the scanner while the plates are being given. Thank you so much, everyone. Please join us for lunch. Coming up is more fun, more of learning and more sustainability. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Like what is that one thing that touches your soul when you think about your work or passion or whatsoever?
I always love training. Training is my passion. That is what, see, I want to make people happy and healthy. Say, happiness through my acting and healthy through my trainings. Health and economics. Both have taught me one lesson, powerful lesson, very simple. People perform better when they feel better. Both cinema as well as health and corporate sector.
And what do you do to feel better?
See, lifestyle, mindset, everything matters.
What are those 3 mantras that everyone should follow for a peaceful, healthy, happy mindset?
People like you around. Hello! Sustainx! Let us start with simple exercise. As you are quite familiar with that. Clap! Okay, come on, clap! 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 Loud? Jersey! Come on, clap! Perfect, perfect. Before we talking about, as you all had, yes or no? Now, you need to do one important exercise, not just today. Every day, you need to make sure the distance between your dining chair to your office chair. Generally, what we all do is we sit, eat food, and again sit. This is something you should all break from today onwards. The rule is very simple. Every day, every time you have something, it could be your breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Immediately after your meal, you should get up. Get up, all of you, and you should walk for at least 10 minutes. 10 minutes walk after meal is must. No matter what. Now first 1 minute you can take a walk all around and come back to your chairs. All of you walk. I didn't ask you to sit. Please do not sit. According to ICMR, Indian Council of Medical Research, says in coming 5 years span, 50% of our population will be having lifestyle diseases like blood pressure, diabetes, thyroid, PCOD, high cholesterol, fatty liver, obesity. 50% of our population. To only prevent all these lifestyle diseases, what you should do is movement. Movement is medicine. When you cannot walk, there's a very simple thing what you can do is just heel raise and up, down, up and down. Yes. Welcome to Sustainx 2026. Happy to see leaders, innovators, FM, fraternity, and TFMC members, and my dear friends. What comes to your mind when we hear the word called sustainability? What comes to your mind? It's a question. What comes to your mind when we hear the word called sustainability? Okay? Okay, very good. Okay, good. I could read your minds. I could read your minds. Now tell me, In workplace apps, green building, solar energy, zero waste. It can be everything. Workplace has everything, but people working in it are not healthy, happy, not productive. Do we think, can we call this particular workplace sustainable? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes. Your answer is right. It's no. To me, sustainability means people. Sustainability means healthy people, happy people, productive people, together called true sustainable workplaces. Do you agree with this? You don't agree? Do you agree? Yes. This is truly sustainable workplace. So to make employees healthy and productive, there are so many ways, out of which, as discussed earlier, movement. Movement is medicine. Sitting long hours in the chair, say for about 8 to 10 hours every day, and you tell, I do 1 hour, I spend 1 hour in gym morning, it doesn't make any sense. And what you have to do is, once every 30 minutes, you should get out of the chair and take 30 steps. For every 30 minutes, 30 steps is mandatory. That is one. That is about movement. And there is one simple exercise which can keep you healthy forever is, we did it earlier, that is post-meal walk. 10 minutes post-meal walk will keep you healthy forever. No matter what you do it, no matter what you eat. Make sure you walk 10 minutes. When time doesn't permit, when you have to sit, make sure do heel raises. Sit in the chair and make sure, look at this, heel raises. And when you're sitting, make sure move and shake, not in front of manager, like this. But this is something you can do it. Physical activity, that is very, very important. Belly. Okay? That is all because of stress that is getting accumulated here. So, to prevent stress, simple remedy is breath. What is it? Breath. So make sure every time you are at workplace, once every 30 minutes, get up, stand, walk, stretch, and smile. These are the things you all should follow to make sure to keep everybody healthy and happy. I'm so happy to be here at Sustainx 2026. I congratulate all TFX members and founder, chairman, and my dear brother, Mr. Satya, for this giving me this wonderful opportunity to greet everybody. Thank you so much. Once again, sustainability means healthy people, happy people, productive people. Thank you so much. Namaste. Ladies are beautiful because అక్కడ వరలక్ష్మి ఉన్నారు కాబట్టి we are here. మన సక్సెస్ అనేది కారణం అక్కడ వరలక్ష్ములు. సో greeting all వరలక్ష్ములు.
Can you hear me? Absolutely loud and clear. Everyone, can you say hello? Namaste. Thank you so much. Can you see my screen? Yes, ma'am. Yes, we can. Thank you. We can also see your beautiful smile. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I will start the presentation. So, namaste. It is an absolute pleasure to be with
today for Sustainx. I am going to be talking to you today about not just sustainable buildings, but actually sustainable ecosystems. And the feature of my keynote today will actually be around how we can adopt AI to accelerate the future of integrated, not just integrated facilities management, but actually the future of sustainability. And I'd like to actually start by saying that the future sustainability will not be delivered by sustainability teams alone. It will actually, I believe, be delivered through the way organisations operate every day. So it's the way that actually we think about the wider ecosystem of not just buildings, but the connectivity between buildings, the supply chain to our organisations, our people, the services we buy, the food we serve, waste we generate, and also energy we consume. And I think the way in which we manage integrated facilities management actually sits at the intersection of people, place, and planet. If we combine that with AI, we absolutely have a massive opportunity to move sustainability as an ambition to actually a sustainable operating model. And then, if we think about our opportunity for many organizations,
Thank you, Anusha. Good afternoon, everyone. Can we have some energy in the room? Louder? Wonderful. I know Dr. Bhadram is not to be seen, otherwise we would have had more energy. But yeah, thank you, everybody. Let me start with a quick question, right, to ponder over, because we are talking about something which is human plus AI. If AI can increasingly think, analyze, predict, and even create, what becomes uniquely human at work? Can anybody answer this question? And then we'll get into the conversation. Because AI can do everything, right? That's what people say. So what is uniquely, yeah, someone raised their hand. Can the mic be passed on? Yeah, please. Do we have a mic there, Sam? I think there is a mic on the table. Yeah, there is a mic there.
Hello.
Hi.
In my view, the most important thing differentiates us, distinguishes us from AI is emotions and our feelings.
Absolutely. Class for the beautiful answer, right? Emotions. So that's what we're going to talk today, and I will begin the conversation with our wonderful set of panelists here today. And then, of course, sir, we'll come back to you. You still have a point? Sam, can you? Sorry.
Yeah.
He wanted to talk.
Empathy, emotional intelligence, and building relationships. It can be done only by the NHRs and it cannot be replaced.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the wonderful answer again. Can we have a round of applause for both the answers here? Thank you so much.
Sir, sir, excuse me, are you also the HR?
Yeah, I'm the HR. I'm working as HR. HR lead for MNC.
Thank you.
Superb. Thank you. So let me start the conversation quite bluntly. Right? So we are talking about human and AI. Giri, the first question I will give it to you. So most organizations are still hiring on degrees, and they have a set of JDs that they follow. And these JDs are written for jobs, obviously, that won't exist, may not exist in the next 5 years. So, if you could screen only one capability, what would that be?
I think that you put it right. I think it's going to be learning agility, right? So what happens is tomorrow, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow in terms of technology. So if you have that ability and like try to hire someone who can kind of grasp things like very quickly, I mean, who knows the business and who could kind of say someone who has a lot of IQ. That's something I would hire. I mean, I would not hire very specific to technology and definitely not the degree. I mean, more than the degree, I would say someone who is like, I mean, who has the thirst to learn. And that's more important than anything else. I mean, that's the kind of people whom we'll have to hire. And especially if we are looking forward and if we are hiring someone today for some technology, I feel it doesn't make any sense. Instead, I mean, we wanted to hire someone who has a lot of IQ, I mean, who's thinking forward, who's able to kind of check on the technology every day, right? And if it is just part, he knows in and out of business. And if technology keeps changing, right? Today it's AI, tomorrow we don't know what's going to come in. So that's when, if you have the learning agility, I mean, and he or she, I mean, they'll go ahead and learn any new technology.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing in sport, I would focus.
Absolutely agree with your perspective. Assess and analyze interviews, and we've seen that. I'm sure there are a couple of stalls here as well. Let's talk about AI in recruitment and hiring. So, what part of recruitment should never be delegated to a machine? And what part are humans doing today purely out of habit?
Absolutely, yeah. So, first of all, thanks to the organizers for giving this opportunity of being present here. So, I've been part of an organization called Resource Technologies, primarily into healthcare and life sciences. We've always looked at the motto, worked at the motto called impacting lives. So that's what even the human resources also does. When it comes to the AI and its era of evolution within the human resources network itself, the recruitment phase has been changed dramatically, and AI really enables us with respect to the recruitment process end to end, right from screening, sourcing, and then scheduling, coordinating, and offer release, etc., etc. But what is missing there is the process is being taken care, but the human resources, the trust, the relationship, the empathy, and these are the things which are actually done by the HR and not by the AI. What is not going to be given to the AI, which is completely handled by the HR, is first thing, the judgment, right? So AI doesn't know, for example, if you take a person who has changed multiple organizations over a period of time with a valid reason of taking care of his elderly parents, right? So it's a very valid reason. AI will mark that candidate as a job offer as per their algorithm. But when it comes to the HR, we actually know the context of why that person has changed the respective jobs. Similarly, the second most important thing is about the trust and relationship. The candidates usually get that trust and relationship not through the AI, but with the kind of conversations, meaningful conversations that they have with the interviewers and the panels, and they get the confidence levels that, okay, this is the place that I'm going to work, and I'll be fortunate enough. So that's very important where human play a key role. And third most important thing is about the values and the culture. So the Gen Z nowadays is worried about what kind of the work, what is the nature of the work that I'm going to do, where I'm going to do, and what I'm going to get out of it. So this is what they look at, that all percolates from the culture of an organization. So culture plays a very important role that should be taken care by the human, not by the AI. And last but not the least is all about the empathy and relationship, right? So this could be done. Take an example these days, it's an era of a famous word called layoffs or let go by many organizations because of the business turnarounds and happenings across the globe. Due to these conversations, AI can't do anything. It's the human which should come into the picture with respect to the empathy, and we should show that empathy to the person, making them understand about the reality of what's going on in business, and we value their services, but at the same time, since it is a business decision, we are moving forward with it. So what we can conclude here is, AI is just an enabler, but what has to be implemented or has to be defined is to be clearly defined by the humans. So that boundary should be clearly defined, and once that is done, it's all about enabler, just the AI, and decision making is with the HR. That's what we did is. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Just add,
Please. Yes, Ramesh.
just say, any of your recruiters here and how many are, any recruiters here? Any of you understand how the role is going to change with AI coming into picture? The way you're going to work or already started working?
I'm sure some of them.
Yeah, okay.
I see that.
I'll just add my own experience on what we have seen, what we are doing in our organization. One important thing is basically what today's recruiters, generally the recruiters were doing is sourcing, screening, and then scheduling interviews, all this, right? Which used to take a lot of time in their entire journey of the recruitment process. But now with AI coming into picture, the screening, shortlisting, everything is being done. So the mass operational thing is being taken care. So what is that we need to do? As humans, what is our role today? Is where you'll have to start thinking. Now one thing most important is, because it is AI, whatever algorithm you are giving it, is going to work on that basis. So what you need to keep doing is, check whether that's working properly or not. Okay, or the, like Satya was saying, right? If the algorithm is not right, your output is wrong. It will not know somebody's jumping companies, it will keep rejecting it. So those kind of things you add, and more important is, you need to go back, keep connecting with your business heads or whoever is preparing the job description, with whom you prepare the job description, and get more clarity into the role which you want to hire. Okay, because without that clarity, if you give to AI, I think it will not give you the right information. Similarly, the judgment, I think somebody is talking about judgment.
Satya mentioned that.
Satya mentioned about the judgment aspect. Okay, so you're there to judge what AI is doing. You know, that's where AI-human collaboration is going to come.
Right? So there is a lot of tension around saying the more intelligence we build about our workforce, the more employees feel watched. And if the algorithm decides who gets promoted, who is accountable when it goes wrong? So when you draw the line between smart and surveyed?
Interesting question. I thought that question was for somebody else, but thanks for posing it to me. So just let me give a little bit of history. I think all of us know that AI is an enabler, right? It's a technology which is evolving. So I'll give you a small example from my own journey. So I'm a Six Sigma Black Belt with GE. I think we use those tools, we use statistical tools to help make decisions better. Then we move into RPA, automation, and trying to see how can we improve our efficiencies. I think there are a lot of HR, facility, admin managers, all of us have been looking at how do we do things faster. And we were watched even at that time. I don't think we were not watched, we were watched. Yeah. And today we are watched all the more. Everybody is very scared, even if I use personally my own Claude or ChatGPT, Gemini, I know everything is read by them. So there is a mindset that I am being controlled. Yeah. But having said that, I think there are governance, there are rules. If I'm sure the world of the future is not that we're going to outsource everything and just sit calm. So I was interestingly listening to one of a speaker, and he said it's going to be 7 hours, AI will work, 2 hours, human will work. So that's the kind of future it's going to be 2030, right? And to your pertinent question on being smart or surveillant, it's a very controlled environment people are in, right? They know that they're being monitored, They know the emails are being tracked. They know the co-pilot which is installed in the system. Everything is done. Right. But still people do what they have to do. And especially in the case of, I'll take an example around performance appraisals. All of us have appraisals in this room every year. So sometimes we get scared, are we being watched? What are the behaviors being tracked? But it doesn't mean that the way you use the data is very important, and that's where we as HR come into play. The business leaders come into play, and leadership should actually ask all the right questions.
Yes.
AI can do all the work, but the day will be closed if we are going to outsource everything to AI. So I think the leaders have been taking conscious decisions to put guardrails and ensure we are developing behaviors, leaders who trust, who build collaborative relationships, and are able to productively work towards it. And as Giri was saying, it's not AI today, tomorrow there's new technology. But I don't think there needs to be a fear by any one of us. But yes, guardrails are important because the cyber criminals will come and also chew us up in our personal lives.
Absolutely.
So we just need to have the biggest thing I want to leave everyone with, presence of mind.
Yes.
The minute we have the presence of mind, either at work or personal, we are able to hold control on ourselves than outsourcing ourselves.
True. Very true, Pratyusha. Just one part of that question, right, which is very crucial here is, I talked about promotion, right? So a lot of times in the organizations, people feel very upset, right? Saying that, okay, so who's the accountable person? Right? So will AI do my screening or somebody else is doing it? Will my manager do it, somebody else will do it? Right? So what do you have to say for that?
See, the future is managers will reduce, right? Today, if I have 50 managers, there will be 10 managers, right? The future. And the 10 managers will hold the decision to make, of course, the promotions. But they will have more objective data. And it's not going to be easy because the younger generation is going to ask each and every question. So the manager is more at a pressure to deliver what he's going to do.
Absolutely. So data is very crucial.
The data will be there. It's going to be very objective based. And I was working recently with Aon on doing an assessment for the managers. And they beautifully put across all the behaviors. And it's just a 10-minute assessment done by the employees. And the manager has an aid and a tool before he gives feedback and coaching. Right? So there are a lot of these things on how it's going to evolve.
Absolutely. I think as HR, it's important for us to know these tools. I think for a fair and objective feedback that you go back to the employees. Thanks so much, Pratyusha.
Thanks,
I think you answered, and I think you eased the tension a little bit. Thank you. So, Sriram, the next question will come to you, right? So, and there is a lot of analytical data, like Pratyusha said, a lot of repetitive work that AI would definitely tease out, right, and absorb. So human skills here get more expensive, right? That's one. They will get more expensive, not less. What is your take?
While human skills are getting expensive day by day, bringing AI into the picture, what I believe and what we are currently doing in the organization is that we have not taken a decision, single decision so far in the past 1.5 years that AI has, mostly has taken over some of the tasks.
Right.
Reason being, we are still in the process of, shaking hands, not burning bridges at this point in time. Right? So, what I believe is that while humans are expensive, like everyone on the stage has already told, it is the human intelligence that is needed. HI is what I would vote for than AI. So that HI quotient should always be there in the DNA of any organization. While Pratyusha told that the managerial headcount may come down, that is a very a decision that is taken by the management where you will not be able to sustain without that, where most of the skills or tasks have already been taken.
Correct.
Yeah. So my vote is still to the HI.
To the
Human intelligence.
intelligence.
Yeah.
Okay. So, which skill do you think is going to be a premium for us to have, right, as a part of our human skills, maybe in the next 5 years?
Empathy and gratitude.
Yeah, I think we have got the answers from the
Yes.
audience as well. So,
Yes.
yeah. So this comes, this actually makes me think about a manager's job. So when any of you would answer this question, what do you think is a manager's job now, especially with AI coming in? Is it a supervisory role or is it a role of a coach? Any of you would answer.
That is the coaching. I don't think AI will be able to take over that coaching part, right? AI will not, at least at this point in time, what data, how much ever quantum of the data that AI is collecting across platforms. I don't think that coaching element is something which that AI will take over, right? When your manager is sitting in front of you, observing day in, day out, what you're able to or what you're not able to do.
Yeah.
So that is something which AI will not define.
Okay.
So I would still say coaching is the element that cannot be taken over.
Just to add on to what Sriram said, I think the biggest skill a manager would need of the future is decision making. Right? I know there's a lot. It's like your Netflix. When you open your OTT platforms, you really don't know what to watch. And you are so confused because there's a plethora of CDs and so much of things.
Yes.
It's the same thing. The managers is going to have an ecosystem. They're going to have tools. They're going to have leaders telling them. And today, most of us are in this GCC services. You have 4 managers, 4 bosses, and there is global versus local. So I think it's about making the decision to drive the culture. I think that decision making and diversity is something on how he can work with his employees much better. Just
Superb. Yeah, superb.
Is it true or not? You have to think. As I was thinking about it after he told, what is that, whether it's right or wrong. Somewhere it is right is what I felt. The reason is, as more and more data gets collected into a system which we are feeding into, it's increasing its intelligence. And if we have to survive as humans, we need to be above that.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay,
You're right.
and I'm sure if not understand philosophy, okay, the way humans, emotions and those things get interest, I think that's going to be, I think I'm missing something there, but philosophy is what, that gentleman was saying, which might be true. Because you don't get, unless you become philosophical, as long as you're thinking, it is the same thought process which is being developed. Philosophy is something beyond your thought process. The spirituality aspect, what you say, spirituality is beyond your thoughts.
Very true. Ramesh, you can answer the next question of mine. If AI makes us so productive, every day we're using, like Pratisha mentioned, all of us use different tools. Does talent mean anything? We're talking about philosophy, so I thought it can be an extension of that.
Yeah, talent is what we develop, is what I say. All the tools which we are using today is developed by us.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So we are using, it is a tool, whether you talk about industrialization or any of those transformations which have happened in our human evolution, right? It's always the tools. Okay, the better tools you have, humans are able to do better jobs. Okay, so AI is just a tool like any other screwdriver once or something else. It's like the same is what my personal feeling is. And all of us are seeing some of those results we are able to do faster and better and cheaper, I would say.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, in our organization, when I was 12, 13 years back, when I was working with Infosys, we started a predictive tool which can predict the attrition, who's going to leave in the next 3 months. I think so, Initially, we started off with some 70 variables and 18,000 employees who left in the last 5-10 years. And then we built a predictive model on that. And in the next 1-2 years, as the data started pouring in more, the predictability started becoming better. Even that is gone today. Today, some of the tools which we use, they do sentimental analysis of what an individual is doing. In my organization today, we use one of the tools, wherein it gets triggered to every employee at the end of quarter. Initially, when an employee joins on the 45th day, then on the 90th day, and then every 90 days it keeps triggering it automatically.
Yes.
And it asks very simple questions, Are you happy at work? How is your team? And as you answer, it will ask the next question.
Yes.
Okay, 6, 7, 8 questions it asks. And every day morning by 8 o'clock, I get a report onto my mail. Okay, yesterday I spoke with 43 people. Okay, 1 person is at high risk, 2 people at medium risk.
That's the early warning signal.
Early warning signals it is giving. Earlier, I used to make a mandate for my team.
Can we have Pratisha Sharma from Invesco please step forward, the HR head? You have all the HRs at one panel in front of you, right in front of you.
Mother and child care, among others, are in the forefront of providing cutting-edge medical care. Centre of Excellence for Organ Transplantation. When it comes to organ transplantation, KIMS Hospital stands out as a beacon of hope for thousands of patients today. Based here at lung transplant, kidney transplant, liver transplant, or bone marrow transplant, patient after patient have found a new lease of life at our centres. Our efforts have resulted in us meeting some of the best quality accreditations. The testament to our tireless efforts to make sure our patients get nothing but the best medical care.
I know it's the end of the day, and you've had a long day, but it's great to see all of you here. Especially given it's a festival and you've had multiple people coming and talking to you about various things. I have a few disclaimers. I was given the topic of healthcare leadership. If you ask someone like me to talk about leadership, we'll talk for the rest of the day. So they told me I have 10 minutes. Maybe if I push it, I'll get 15 minutes. So I decided to do 4 things. One is I'll tell you a little bit about myself. And then where I work and what we do and what we've done. And how is it that there's a lot of discussion that happened about AI technology and what is it that we've done in that space. And what is it that we as hospitals not just take but give back to the community. So those are the things that I will cover. Maybe I'll take 10-12 minutes, a bit longer. But I also do a social experiment to see if you're all actually listening. So I'm asking you some questions. So the tip is that when I raise my right hand, all of you raise your right hand. When I write once, that means you're all participating in the discussion. When I raise my left hand, you give a clap. Okay, let's try that. Okay, good? Good, very good. I think you're all attentive. Now, I did the same with KIMS leadership, and I'll tell you the outcome of it at the end. So, before we go next, leading healthcare, leading people, or leading change is actually equal to changing lives in the specialty of healthcare. That's the key thing. So let's start with that. Next slide, please. I think technology doesn't give you hands when you most need it. This is a little bit about myself. I'm KIMS. So I am Dr. Sudeep. By qualification, I am a gastroenterologist. But I spent about 15 years abroad, came to India in 2019, and then COVID happened in 2020, then I became a medical director. So COVID made some careers and broke some. After that, I don't practice anymore, although I worked after UIM for 21 years. Now I run hospitals. So I am currently the Regional Medical Director at KIMS Hospitals. If I was giving this presentation maybe 18 months ago, I would have said we have 12 or 14 hospitals with 4,500 beds. Today, when we were printing the brochures that's on your desk, we had 8,400 beds. Today, as I speak, it's 27 hospitals with 9,500 beds. That's the pace at which we are growing. But with growth, you need consolidation. You need a vision, you need a strategy, you need the right leadership and the right people to support you along the way. So, as I said, this is the network. We are predominantly based in south of India, Kerala, Andhra, Telangana, Maharashtra, and Karnataka. We started with one hospital, 200 beds in Nellore in 2000. Today, we are 27 and we cover almost 5 states and growing. So that requires a vision from the founders and what is the ethos that actually helped us drive this growth. Personally, I believe it's only one thing. Keep your patient first. What does your patient want? Patient wants good experience. How many of you have been to a hospital? Again, take the clue. Right hand is up. So you all been to a hospital. How many of you felt that your time could have been saved while you were in the hospital? Yes? Good. So it is the value-added experience that we are looking at. Today I have got my team who are supporting us here, who have been relentless in bringing about service excellence as a key to the patient experience in the hospitals. So it's no longer you are a patient. In some of our units, we are called guests. You are a guest in our unit, we are here to show you the hospitality in addition to providing you a good clinical care. That's what we are for. But good clinical outcomes require clinical expertise. It also requires a safe environment where high quality clinical care is delivered. That is the key to expansion. That is the key to excellence. Now, of course, we need technology, we need innovation. Take, for example, the latest infrastructure that we have anywhere in the world. I can raise my hand boldly and say, we have it in KIMS. Is the left hand, please? Is the social experiment? So just checking if you're still with me, that we are able to do it in Kodapur and in KIMS today, in any of the units. What is the guarantee that I can give to you that if ever you walk into any units in KIMS, the standard of care will be the same? That requires integrated and connected systems. That is what technology brings to us. That is what electronic health records brings. That is what AI-generated tools bring to us. So that is why it's important to have technology integration work together with the clinical excellence. But do we want volume or value? What would you prefer? How many people want volume? That was the cue again, okay. How many people want value? Good. Thank you. I think now the social experiment is working perfectly well. So, value over volume actually brings about the right leadership in any context. I think that's what we need to bring. What do you add value and how do you add it? What is the most important thing that all of us have? Any takers? The most important thing is exposed to all of us. Once gone is gone forever. Time. Everybody said it, well done. Time. That if I'm able to use technology, if I'm able to use my service delivery, if I'm able to add value in the form of time to my patient, to my doctor, who's able to spend those extra 10 minutes, extra 2 minutes, holding hands, explaining the diagnosis to the patient, I've done my job. So that is what I need to bring to every single patient. That is what leadership needs to bring. How is it that I'm adding value to bring patient care at its best to every patient at all the time? That brings me the trust. Because medicine is still an art as much as it is science. Unless you trust me and keep your lives in our hands, you won't be able to do it. So trust and respect are paramount to leadership. So clinical excellence, human connection, technology and teamwork are what makes the exceptional healthcare that we deliver. So management is doing things right. Leadership is doing the right things. How many of you believe that as leaders, you face this challenge more than once? Again, right hand is going up. So it is about taking ownership. If you own the problem, you will be able to provide solutions. You own, you solve, but it is not I, it is us. You enable the person at the last step. That is what gives the ownership, that is what gives the solutions. If we are going to micromanage things to what a porter needs to do or housekeeping needs to do, you give them the freedom, you enable them what they need to do, inspire them, that will give you the leadership. And that's what we exactly did. We created small teams, we created all our respective heads to take care of the P&L, take care of the finance, take care of their net promoter scores, respond to the feedback that they were getting. That gave ownership into their hands. So it's translating what is best into the field. That will allow enablement of everybody. It raises the standards across the organization, which is what we did. I'm very proud to say, I'll take you to some of the initiatives that we did, that reducing medical errors, reducing the code bills and emergencies, we were able to do it. And that happened solely because we enabled the last point. That is what creates impact. And impact needs to be lasting. So own, solve, is that my cue to get off the stage? I hope not. So this is should I carry on? We'll wait for some more time until the next. So clinical intelligence is about evidence-based solution. The science is the same for all of us. It's how I use it, how I implement it. That requires clinical intelligence. But what is important? Is it IQ that is important or EQ that is important? Emotional coefficient or emotional intelligence that we all have. A nurse holding the hands of a patient when they are sick is much more powerful than all my words of wisdom to that patient. That is what we need to bring. By enabling technology to be able to provide the time spent by the patient with their clinician, by making digitally intelligent solutions such as AI and automation, through collaborative multidisciplinary work where all of you come together. For example, in cancer, today it is not a single doctor making a decision. There's a surgeon, there's a medic, there's a radiation oncologist, there's a nurse, and there's a dietitian, there's a clinical psychologist. We put all of this together and we discuss about the patient. That is standard practice. That's what teamwork brings, that's what brings excellence to the doorstep of the patients. So once we have established something, what do we all do? We become complacent. That is the stage when you're actually falling behind. Because the only constant thing in life is change. And I'm sure it will echo to all of you. That change becomes the constant when you keep striving to get the next level of innovation and the next one. Each time you do that, you will keep raising the bar of excellence to the next stage. So this is about Kodapur, the unit where I do. We started with 200 beds. Today we are close to 800. We cater for more than 1.5 lakh patients outside and OP. We have very low network of 9% conversion to IP. We keep the IP rates down because we want patients to be home and we want to deliver our care at their home. We are one of the safest organizations. So accreditation to establish your safety, whether it is NABH, NABL, digital standards, CAHO, CSS excellence. Everywhere, we need to create the highest safety standards to be able to project the right leadership. So, get the right clinical team, provide the empathetic care, use a multidisciplinary team approach, and make sure you provide the highest standard of care and the highest quality care possible. One hospital, many centers, not easy. We are one of the few units where groups where we got multidisciplinary care, such as skin cuddles, which caters for mother and child, oncology services, we have plastics, dermatology, ENT, optal, along with cardiac sciences, and all these services coming under one umbrella. It's only possible when we have the right leadership and we are actually sharing the knowledge and understanding between all specialties about the person who is sitting in front of you. That is the patient. So that is why excellence through multidisciplinary teamwork. Quality is not an act, it's a habit. Make it your day-to-day practice. That's what brings out the best in you. So we are going from specialist care, as we saw in the decades ago, to integrated care. We want everybody to work together. We want patient to be the center of it. We evidence-based and better outcomes. So I strongly believe, as it was echoed in the speakers earlier on the stage, technology is best when it brings people together, as Martin Luther said. So that is why integrated care is the future of healthcare delivery. So what would we do 2020, 2030, about 4 years away? If I were to decide there will come a day where I will not be talking to you about disease, I will be talking to you about how you prevent it. How do you predict rather than react? How do I make not a hospital centric but a patient centric? How do I not make it a siloed way but a connected care? How do I bring volume versus value? More importantly, data intelligence. It's important whatever data is collected should be used for the patient and not for the benefit of the organization itself. It is your data and you own it, not me. And along with that, bring the technology. There is a quote which got asked last time, will AI replace us? At this stage where we are not in artificial intelligence stage or assisted intelligence stage. It means that there is a long way to go before we look back and say yes. It is not the species that's the most responsible.